Forget trying to keep up with AI. It's moving too fast. It's time to think differently about it. Welcome to the AI Readiness Project, hosted by Kyle Shamim and Ann Murphy. They're here to help you build the mindset to thrive in an AI-driven world and prepare for what's next.
Ann Murphy, look at this.
Today's the day, Kyle.
This is the day. This is what it's all been building up to.
It's all been building up to this very day.
Exactly. Today, we've got a special guest, and we're going to be talking about not the AI Readiness Project, which is this podcast, but we're going to be talking about the AI Readiness Training Program.
Which is why this podcast exists, everybody. So this really is a big day.
It's a big, big day. So let me give a little bit of background on how we got here, and then we will bring up our guest of honor, and we can start talking about this and the 10 steps of AI readiness and all sorts of good stuff. So back at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of 2025, Ann and I put on a thing called AI Festivus, AI for the rest of us. And it was an international event. We had thousands of people from all over the world. It was really quite remarkable. And we had 34 speakers over 24 hours. And I think we put it together in 2 weeks, something like that. What was remarkable was the people that spoke to a person didn't talk about AI technology. They were talking about their mindset and how they were thinking about AI and how they were applying AI. And there was something just remarkable about it. And one of the requests that kept emerging in the conversations was, could we turn this into a training? And so we set out to do that and came up with this idea of AI readiness and AI readiness training. And so our guest of honor today is Vikki Baptiste, who we know and love, who's the community manager for the AI Salon, but also a remarkable person. And Vikki designed the curriculum for the AI Readiness Training Program. So Vikki, welcome.
Hi,
welcome, Vikki.
I'm so happy to be here.
I know, it's so exciting to have you here. So what I'd like to do, why don't, just in case people are seeing this that don't know us, I'll do a quick intro. You do it too as well, Ann. And then Vikki, if you could just tell us a bit about, your background and who you are, and then we'll get talking about what we've created here. So I'm Kyle Shannon. I'm the co-founder and the president of the AI Salon. I'm also a CEO of a company called Storyvine, and I'm kind of into this AI stuff.
Kind of.
Right.
I'm Ann Murphy. I'm the founder of She Leads AI and the CEO and founder of Empowered Fundraiser Consulting. And I'm super happy to be here.
Alrighty, and I am Vikki Baptiste. Primarily I am the enterprise product manager at a large insurance company. But in my spare time, I'm the community director for the AI Salon. I have my own web design and marketing agency called 3Bs Digital, and a number of projects. I will not go into how many, but let's say I'm just like this deep into AI.
Well, what you were saying before we started, haven't you just hit a milestone with custom GPTs?
I have. I just crossed the 300 line, and
God,
some of them are like for my clients, so they're not all out there. The hard part just comes like going back into updating them every time ChatGPT does something new. You have to go in and check more boxes and whatever. So the upkeep is a little. I would have more if I didn't have to do all that upkeep. Put it that way.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
What about your 3D printing? Because I've been following you on TikTok for a couple years, and I have thoroughly enjoyed all of your creations. Where are you in your 3D printing journey?
I currently have 2 printers that are broken. I
think I knew that because I haven't seen as many of your creations. I almost hesitated to ask.
Like, they're all around. They're everywhere.
Oh, they're so cute.
Like you just have to say 3D printing, and like I have like they're they're everywhere.
Oh, you have your own, Kyle?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of things that Vikki made for me. She sent me little ADD fidget spinners and things like that.
Ooh.
The fidget spinners are fun, but yeah, I just actually gave away like 5 3D printers that I wasn't.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then the other 2 are in various states of disrepair.
That's crazy. Well, so let's get started today. So here's what we're going to do. I'll give you a little rundown of the agenda. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to walk through what we call the 10 steps of AI readiness. And these are just kind of some ideas. As we were looking to put together the curriculum, we were trying to figure out what are the through lines that were across all of these different talks. And one of the things we wanted to do in particular was make sure that this training was evergreen, that this wasn't something that if you watched it, it would be irrelevant 3 months from now or 6 months from now, because the tools are changing so much. So what we'll do is this. There's 10 steps, and what I'll do is I'll kind of tee up a step, and then Vikki and Ann, if you guys would just kind of riff on it and just give your thoughts and, where's your head? And it's actually going to be interesting from where we started to where we are now. Has anything changed from when we did this, started this 6 months ago? So step number 1 of AI readiness is start with a problem, not a tool. One of the things that is seductive about AI technology is because it's so powerful, you might say, oh, I want to do something with ChatGPT, as opposed to saying, hey, I've got this problem I want to solve. What's the best tool to solve that? Which may or may not be ChatGPT. It might just be Microsoft Word in your brain, right? So start with a problem, not a tool. Thoughts?
Well, start with a problem, not a tool, is something that I learned even before AI Festivus from Suzanne Welker-Juergens, one of our favorite community members. No matter what community you're in, Suzanne, if Suzanne is there, it's a better place. But she kind of retrained a bunch of us over time to actually sit and think before we started a project and to kind of treat our work as though we were product managers, which when I first met Suzanne, I had no idea what she even meant by that. But I really appreciate that point of view, and I've taken it into everything I do with AI, is like start with the problem in mind.
Beautiful.
I feel the same thing, and I know, like Suzanne presented in AI Festivus, and which became part of this curriculum, I should say. I'm sorry, I don't speak well, and that was one of the things that she like contributed to this course, is like that's really where you have to start. So that the problem you're not doing, if you're not solving a problem, you're not really doing anything, right?
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Beautiful.
And sometimes it's in conflict with our idea of just play, but you can be doing both things at the same time. And even if you start out with, I'm going to play, like maybe have a little bit of a direction going into it. I just think that this has been some of the best advice I've been given about working with AI.
Yeah, love it. Okay, number 2, and I love this one. I'm fond of saying there are no experts, right? Because things are changing so fast that anyone that tells you that know what's going on is just lying. And that is this. Number 2 is embrace a beginner's mindset. So Vikki, why don't you lead us off on this one? What are your thoughts on having that mindset where we know nothing?
Nothing. Yeah, I think that's so important. And that kind of really feeds into the play thing, right? So you can learn so much just by playing. And if you go into it with that attitude of like, I don't know, like, where do I start? Like, what do I do? And you can ask all those questions to whatever LLM you're using, and it will guide you through, what you need to do, what you need to do to complete the thing that you're trying to complete. And if you like go into it with, I know nothing, then you learn more because you're not taking any of your own bias into that. So I think that's a really important step.
Yeah. I think that having a beginner's mindset is also a really vulnerable place for a lot of people to come from, and that it's important. And I'm glad that we normalize that throughout this program, is like, we're all beginners. Like Kyle says, there are no experts, but along with being a beginner is this admission that you don't know what you're doing. And for a lot of people, that is the hardest part to get through. Is like, we're old dogs and we're trying new tricks. What's it like to do that?
There's almost like a self-imposed pressure that, and I hear this a lot from people. I should be better at, right? I should be better at prompting. I should be better at AI. and really just giving yourself the grace to say, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's not always a comfortable place to be, but I think it's really important because that's how you learn. And that's also a place that you can ask questions from and ask for help from others, right? So
it's kind of like when you're like if you have a business and you're going in to help someone else, you have to have a discovery session, right? You can't go into a business knowing everything about that business. And so that's where that's a beginner's mindset too. And so I think that comes through in like whatever you do. You need to start to build your foundation by asking questions.
Beautiful. Okay, step number 3 on the path to AI readiness is just start using it and brain dump. So basically, one of the things that blows me away about ChatGPT is its ability to organize my thoughts because they can be all over the place. And so the idea is basically, I guess it's a twist on the Nike tagline, just do it, right? Just jump in and throw your ideas in there. So what are your thoughts on that one?
Well, this kind of makes me think about what you've been talking about recently with the feed your prompt thing of how important, and then, now we're all excited about context engineering. It's like, how can you give AI the information that you need in order for it to do a good job as a partner with you, right? It's not expecting people to be able to figure things out without giving them background. So that's this piece about, start using it and do a brain dump, give it context so that it can go to town on the project that you're working on together.
Yeah, good. Any further thoughts on that, Vikki?
I do. I have. So this one idea can like go through all of these steps. I was having a meltdown the other day because like I had so many things to do and I was behind in so many things. And so I opened Manus and I said, look, this is like literally through tears. I read through my whole to-do list, which is sorted out into personal, business, salon, whatever. And I said, I'm frozen. I don't know my next step. I don't know where to start. And I just need help getting this done. And so I now have a working document with Manus that it tells me exactly what to do. And like I print it out every day. And I keep that window open in Manus and I update it, said, I finished this, but I also need to add this, and this. And it just sorts out the whole thing for me. And it's like, so no more tears. And I have my days.
That's genius. That's really good.
So that kind of like covers a bunch of things that are in all of these 10 steps, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like it is remarkably good at taking just all sorts of disparate ideas and it essentially in an instant organizing it. It really is quite remarkable.
Which is most important and which I can like leave at the bottom of the list and getting shit done.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, number 4. Focus on practical, quick wins, right? And so this is, for those of us with ADHD, I think this one's a critical one that, you want to see victory. The good news about AI is that it can deliver quick wins, but I'm curious what either of you think on the, get that dopamine hit.
Well, this goes back to one of our favorite presenters, Josh Houston. And as you Kyle, when Josh was on the show, he reminded us that what we all are as working human beings is we're people who get paid to make files. At the end of the day, if fight me in the comments, tell me I'm wrong. At the end of the day, all we are people who are paid to make files. And his company gets quick AI wins. So he's like boiled this down to a science of like, if your goal in life is to make a file, let's get you to that point, right? And he focuses on like, let's remove some of the highfalutin, like long-term wins and get people those dopamine hits, right? That time to value, shortening it as fast as you can so that you have the motivation to keep on going. We can all do big, huge, lofty projects for sure. And sometimes that makes the quick wins feel less significant, but they're not.
Yep.
And I think that also, like going back to Josh's presentation at AI Festivus, is like I remember that he started with like identify what your problems are. Okay, so we're going back like a couple of points
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Identify your problems, and like if you chunk them down and like knock them out like 10 pins, like one at a time, you can see forward momentum. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going. And as long as you can see forward momentum, like you can keep going. So like those quick wins, I think again, ADHD brain, like quick wins are so important.
Yep,
So
that's great.
important.
I'm going to do number 5. I don't think we need to comment on number 5 because I think it's really straightforward. But it's basically this: use free AI tools to get started. One of the things I hear over and over again is, which subscription do I do? Do I have to pay for anything? Almost everything, with the maybe exception of video tools where they can be, you have to have a subscription there. But for almost everything, there are free tools, and they're just out there. Free ChatGPT is good, free Claude's good, free Perplexity is good. There are really good tools out there to just get started. So don't feel like you need to do it. So that was number 5. So here's number 6, and this is one, I want to dig in, but we got to keep it nice and tight here. So be concise on this. Leverage AI to enhance your zone of genius. This one I'm particularly passionate about, and I think this one is one of the most critical things about being successful with AI. But enhance your zone of genius using AI. What are your thoughts, Vikki?
I want to say it's really hard for me to stick to a zone of genius because I'm like it's the T model, right? I want to try like everything at the top, but there are ways that I go deep, and like ChatGPT and Midjourney are my going deep. I try all the other tools, but that zone of genius thing I think is custom GPTs.
Yeah. When I think about zone of genius in this context, it reminds me of how important it is to think of AI as a way to amplify ourselves, like you talk about, Kyle, right? This is about amplifying myself, the goodness in me, the good things that I do. And then I think about when I'm operating outside of my zone of genius, when I'm using AI, that's when I need to remember that I need to tread carefully, because I might not know inherently that there's bias in here, or these facts are wrong, or whatever. If we're talking about physics, all of a sudden I'm outside of my zone of genius, and that's when I need to be a little bit cautious when I'm using AI.
Yep. And for me, it's about having a personal point of view, right? Understand, here's what I'm trying to accomplish, here's what I want to do in the world, and then as AI feeds it back to you, saying, is that good? Is it what I want? Things like that. Like be in your, in that point of view for yourself, where you understand what's good and what's not. Vikki, I'll lead with you on this one again. Number 7 on steps to AI readiness is be aware of data privacy and security. You work for a big organization. I work with a lot of big pharma companies. Talk to me about the excitement of AI tools versus being responsible and professional when it comes to things like data and security and privacy.
Yeah, I think that this one is so important. And it's something that a lot of people not necessarily intentionally ignore, but like you get really excited about something and you start putting it on, here's my bank statement. Like, can you tell me where I can save money? And like, people just don't think of that, what they're actually giving to whatever LLM or whatever tool that they're using. And data privacy is, we work with people who we need to protect their identity. So I'm always really cautious, especially at work. Like I can be tripped up by like just copying a chunk of text out of a corporate website and putting it in and say, asking my question, and it says, "Oops, sorry, we can't do that." So I started using like the square brackets, with like name of company in there and stuff like that, and then you can just like translate that back to whatever you're doing, and then fill in your stuff after you've got your answer and you're out of the AI tool.
Yeah. This reminds me of Tracy, the safety lady Hawkins, right? She says, don't believe anything you see, hear, or read, period.
Yeah, exactly. Assume, it's going to be, assume it's going to be wrong, and, verify that it's right. And also, don't put in state secrets into things where you don't deeply understand the security and privacy policy of the tool that you're using, right? we work with a lot of pharma clients, and so we are contractually obligated not to do things like share personal data. And so again, it can be very easy to be seduced into just, oh, let me just drop in that information and get the quick answer back. But just be very, very aware of that.
I find also, sorry, just on that same topic, like it's very good at teaching you things about security that you don't know. Like I didn't realize until recently, like, for instance, like the uppercase L looks the same as, uppercase I looks the same as an L if you're using like a sans serif font. So when you think you're sending something to PayPal, it could be like PayPal.com. And like, you don't think about that kind of stuff until you actually put that text into like a different font and you can see what's going on.
Interesting.
And I learned that through ChatGPT.
There you go. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, this is a fun one. So, Anne, I'll have you jump in on this one. And that is build your AI intuition. Tell us what you think that means for you.
Well, I think it kind of harkens back to why this is AI readiness, not AI literacy. Like AI literacy is something you can check a box on. You get to a point where there's like a minimum viable understanding of something and you're literate, right? And then you just go.
I'm literate on Midjourney. I'm literate on ChatGPT.
Right? Literate, exactly. Same thing with like readiness and intuition. And the thing that I like about intuition is when I developed it, it was such a huge level up. And it's, for me, my version of AI intuition is being able to open up a platform that I've never seen before and like understand the user interface pretty well. When I first started, I just didn't even know, like when I'm talking to something like ChatGPT, remember in the beginning when it was just that little box on the bottom? I remember with no information around it, just this box. And I remember thinking, there's no way the entirety of the public, Beyonce's internet is inside this box. And over time, as you use it, you just develop these muscles and your intuition, you start knowing, okay, when I'm now dropped into this user interface, this is probably how I'm supposed to, interface with it. And that has helped a lot.
Great. Love it. And how about you, Vikki? What's your relationship with intuition and these tools?
Whenever I hear intuition, I always think of that, like knowledge is knowing the tomato is a fruit and intuition is not putting it in the fruit salad. I like, to me, like intuition is, if I want to make a specific kind of image, I know that I can go to Midjourney because it has mood boards. If I want to make a more general image, I can do it in DALL-E in ChatGPT because like it's so good now. And I think that again is something that is reinforced like throughout the lessons in this course, is like it teaches you like how to build up your intuition, like to know what tool to use, not necessarily like naming tools, but like what kind of tool. Do you need deep research or do you just need like a quick answer kind of thing?
It reminds me when I went to acting school, one of the things I wondered is, what do they teach you at acting school? and what they teach you is they teach you a bunch of tools that you're supposed to practice enough that you forget the tool and just get back to your intuition. And I feel like AI is very similar, where there are things to learn. There's learning how to prompt and learning how to give it feedback and give it context and all that sort of stuff. And once you get to a certain level of mastery with that, you can start to be a bit more intuitive and just, here's a problem I have. Okay, I know I'm going to use this tool or that tool. And if that doesn't work, I'll go over here. But there's a level of mastery that's required. And I think you just get that through playing and practice and doing. So
I think the course really, really helps with intuition because it gives a solid enough foundation in a breadth of areas so you can begin to connect dots. Like you're going to be doing an AI project or you're going to see something that you think you could use AI on, and you're going to know, okay, this dot and that dot can get hooked together by this type of a tool, not necessarily which exact tool of the moment, but here's what I'm trying to do. Oh, that's a video generator.
Yep. Great. Love it.
Number 9.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Going back to intuition, like the thing that is like your intuition is to just like speak to a person, speak to ChatGPT like you're speaking to a person.
Oh, yeah.
And people's like they might start off doing like, oh, I need da 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 da, and like, you know, start talking like a robot, but like your intuition should lead, and that's
great.
what you use to like to put in a prompt.
It is a large language model, not a large logic model, right? And so, yeah, use your words. That's great. Step number 9 of AI readiness is build community. You're looking at 3 people that are deeply passionate about that. Vikki, you are the community manager for the AI Salon. Tell us what you feel the value of community is with this AI stuff.
I love our community, and it's like building community is hard because people have opinions, and like I have not seen another community like our community where people are so forgiving. They're so helpful. Everybody just wants to jump in. You know, if someone has a project, everyone can jump in on the project and help. And like, it's not cliquey at all. And I think that's really important for a community, because if it gets to be like cliquey, you start to get divides. And divides are really hard to handle. So I just love that everyone is so cohesive. And I think a lot of that is because everyone is learning from everyone else. So if you keep all your ideas to yourself, you're not benefiting yourself, and you're not benefiting anyone else in the community. So the sharing part of community, I think, is what helps us all stick together.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love
Same. And I mean, there aren't enough hours in a day or in a lifetime for us to learn all the things ourselves. So we need to look to what other people have tried, failed, gotten up, dusted themselves off, retried, and kind of take those learnings on as if they're our own. It's the fastest way to get better, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's the quantity, the amount of change and the sheer quantity of tools is impossible to keep up with. There's a thing on top of it, which is when you're in a community of people that are curious about AI, you get very, very different points of views. So when Jim Ross, who, you know, manages, you know, self-storage units, when he gives his take on how he uses AI, it's really obvious to him, but it's often revelatory to me because I'm not from that point of view. So even things that I know how to do, when I see someone else use it, I learn new things from that. So there's just the sheer quantity, but there's also the different lenses that people work with AI through that it is revelatory. Sometimes you're like, oh, I need to go try that for this project, right?
Yep.
That's very exciting to me. Great. Okay. Last one, and then Vikki, I want you to walk us through the sections of the AI Readiness Training Program. But the last step in AI readiness comes to us largely from Adnan Iftikhar, I think is how you say his last name, and Brian Moynihan. And it's this: focus on adaptability quotient and emotional quotient. So we know the IQ, intellectual quotient. Over the past decade or so, we've talked a lot about EQ. And the concept that they brought up is balancing IQ, EQ, and this new thing of adaptability quotient. Things are changing. Things are going to keep changing, and we're going to need to adapt. So maybe you could both just share, you know, how have you adapted over the past 2.5 years as you've been immersed in this world of craziness?
You get first, Sam.
Oh boy. Okay, I do think that I've developed a higher tolerance for the sheer volume of like mini decisions that I make in a day, because I have information and insights and knowledge that comes, you know, through me so fast. And so, like, all before like 9 o'clock in the morning, I've made 1,000 decisions. And in the beginning, that was really, really taxing. I wasn't used to thinking that way or like getting through a day that way. But now I do think my brain actually got stronger and got better at like utilizing the insights, utilizing the knowledge, and then making a decision and moving on to the next thing, and not having it be as exhausting as it was in the beginning.
Beautiful.
It's the main thing.
Adaptability for you, Vikki. Where have you, you know, exercised that muscle?
I think like Anne's comment like rings true with me, and I always say, like, I use the line from Alice in Wonderland, I think it was the White Queen, that said something like, I've already completed 6 impossible tasks before breakfast. I feel like I have to reread that one to see where it really came from, but I think that's it. I think that for me, adaptability is that everything changes so quickly. Like I said, with the custom GPTs, I have to go through them all now and like check this box because OpenAI added, I can't remember what box it is. You have to check. But like everything is just changing so fast. And we used to have this mentality, and a lot of people, like, I feel more like people outside of AI still do, when Facebook changes something on their homepage and everyone's like, oh, I hate this. And then after a while, it's like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. Like, I don't know how we survived without it. And I think that adaptability is like, they're changing things for our own good. And like, you see these changes in the different AI tools and you think, oh, why didn't they just leave it alone? It was awesome. And then you have this extra thing that they've added on top and it's like, no, that really does work. I really like it. And so I think like being able to look at those things as positives rather than negatives is pretty big.
That's really good. That's really good. For me, the adaptability thing has to do with preciousness. Sometimes I'll build something and it's really good and it's really innovative and people see it and they're like, oh my God. And then 3 months later, my instinct is that it's still as genius as it was 3 months ago, but now things have evolved and now it's just a feature of one of these tools, right? So the thing that I made is no longer, and being able to not be precious with the things we create and just really recognize, okay, great. I learned something in that. I'm glad I did it. It was really exciting for a month or two. And now it's time to move on. So letting go of, your precious things that you've created, I think is a skill worth doing. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't do the work. You should do the work. Let it be precious in the moment. And then if things change quickly and that's no longer as relevant, let it go and figure out the next thing. Great. So that's it. So those are the 10 steps of AI readiness, just as sort of key themes that we pulled out of this 24 hours of AI Festivus. Vikki, if you'd be so kind right now, what I'd love to have you do is just walk us through what are the main sections, talk us about the program overall, what are the main sections and what can people expect to learn in the program?
Awesome. And I have to refer to another screen because I cannot remember all this stuff off the top of my head because there's so much in there. But I think like one of the main things that really hit me about this as a course is that you could pay the price of the course just to have access to those videos from AI Festivus because there's so much magic, so much knowledge crammed into those videos. And I know like a lot of courses, they do sell access to video. Or if you go to a webinar like this, okay, you can like pay more money and have like permanent access to these videos. So I think that's really important, but also the learning, like we are not directly teaching from someone's video. We are looking at the information that they gave us and looking at that information as a whole. And that's what helped us to develop the course. So we walked through like 5 different areas in this course. So you could essentially say you can complete it in 5 days, or everything's just split into 5. You probably could complete it in 5 days, but I recommend like taking more because like you really want to soak in that knowledge. So we start with AI foundations, so AI exploration, and I'll just go like quickly through the topics and then go into them in a little bit more detail. Then the second session is the AI powered business, and the third session is the creative process. The fourth session is responsible innovation, so important. And the last session is like actually putting your AI into action. So the first session is like the longest. It actually has, there's I think 12 lessons. Most sessions have 9. This one had so much information that we had to split it into 12. And we're talking about culture shifts, and we're talking about like scaling AI from an individual to a business. So you can come into this as a business owner, or you can come into this as an individual, and whatever you do, like you can adapt the knowledge to your special area of interest. We also talked about problem-driven results, and that was the session we talked about before with Suzanne Walker-Jurgens, who teaches you how to like really dig into something, pull out the problems, and then use those use those problems to move forward with your AI learning. And that is also the session that has the culture shift with Brian and Adnan with the IQ, AQ, EQ formula. The AI in business, and like, you can absolutely skip this if you're not in business, but like, I think like everyone in AI is in business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of
You
entrepreneurs,
really are. Yeah.
entrepreneurship coming.
Yes. And even if you don't have like a business, you can still get good information from this session. So we're talking about tools, ethics, and growth with a panel that included like Jim Ross that Kyle talked about before, as well as a bunch of other people who are talking about like how they use AI in their business. And again, like you can equate that to just individual stuff. It doesn't have to be a business. We're talking about simplifying AI adoption services for consultants, and that's the session with Josh Houston. And then we're also looking at prioritizing wellness in the workplace, which is really important because you don't want to burn out. So we're looking at recognizing opportunities. We're looking at building an AI ready business culture. And I think we even talked about AI councils somewhere in there as well.
We did.
Yeah. The creativity one is fun because we're looking at art, we're looking at music, we're looking at video, and the sessions are really fun to be able to see what people have done. People like Kelly Bosch, CJ, oh my God, I've forgotten. CJ Sorry, I forgot his last name. A lot of people who you've actually seen like on this podcast, talking about like how they achieve what they do and their mindset towards creativity, which I think is actually really fun. Talking about filmmaking, and while in their session what they actually show may have evolved into more, it's always like a good starting place, and can show you where you can like build filmmaking into a business, like people like Joy Purdy.
Yeah.
The ethics, policy ethics and civil engagement is like the responsible innovation section. So that's like we talked about Tracy, the safety lady. We also spoke to Dawn, whose name I cannot remember, but also talks about cybersecurity.
Christy, yep.
And that's right, yes. And Cindy Kuhn's session, this pulls on Cindy's session from like cultivating the AI mindset. And like, while you might think that belongs in the beginner session, like it's really cultivating your mindset, like to adopt an AI secure environment for yourself and for people you're working for if you have a business. And the last section is like putting everything into action. And we had like an amazing session with Glenn on his internet gold, like how to pull out gold from various things. And then we also talked about education with Mr. K, who is coming up in a future podcast as well, I believe, or might be a past podcast at this stage. And then, Tara Bonhorst and like her future product playground. I feel like some of Cindy's work like feeds into this as well, like where you're predicting like what can come in the future. And it's like, is it the Wayne Gretzky thing that's like skating to the puck? And then also there's a podcast panel in there and like Pate teaching about language models, so you can really dig into like how AI works. And we are not expecting you to come out with a Pate model level mindset about how AI works, but I think it's really important to look behind the scenes and say, okay, why does ChatGPT give me the answers that it gives me? How does that work?
So what is hallucination, and why does it do that? And how can I that? And exactly, all that sort of stuff.
I mean, not only do you need to know for yourself, but like if you have a business, you need to explain it to your clients as well. So having all that learning is just so awesome.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's terrific. So that's the curriculum, these 5 main areas. And it's, you go through that and it really does give you a foundation to be able to think about this stuff, whether you're going to use it personally, professionally, things like that. The training program is now available. So thank you, Vikki, for putting it together. Thank you, all of us, for hanging in there. And thanks everyone who's watching for your patience. But if you go to areyoureadyforai.com, as you see on the screen right there, letters Are You Ready, number 4, AI.com, you can sign up for the training, and it is incredibly reasonable. And Vikki has done just an amazing job. So Vikki, thank you for hanging out with us. For someone who didn't want to be on camera, can I just say you nailed it?
You nailed it. Vikki is one of those people, like, don't listen to what she says she can't do, because it's opposite day. Couple of things that we would be remiss if we didn't give shout outs for. First of all, our amazing faculty. So everybody who presented at AI Festivus gave so generously. And that's one of the things that kind of goes back to that thing about community. It's like we have this extended community who are so generous with one another. And so the information that you get in the AI Readiness Program is the real tea. It's like what real people are doing every day. Literally normal everyday people, just like me, just like you, just like the three of us, and people who aren't even as obsessed with AI as we are. So huge shout out to all of our faculty who presented. Then we love to have feedback. So when you grab the course and you start going through it, please let us know how it's going. We want to hear from you. So don't think that this is like some product that you're going to buy and go away in a corner and do unless you want to do it that way. You are part of our community. So the three of us who are on the screen right now or in your ears, we would absolutely love to hear from you as you're going through the program, and let us put your picture on the website. Tell us what you like about it. We would love to have testimonials there, so don't forget about that. Also, there are a whole heck of a lot of people behind doing what we do here on the screen right now, and there's too many to count, but I do just want to give a shout out to the many people who show up in our communities every day to make opportunities like this possible for other people. And whether it was through AI Festivus or curation of the content or making the program like you, Vikki, there are lots of people around us who help us do this kind of stuff. So huge shout out to them. Kyle, do you want to tell the nice people? Yes, please.
Sorry, I just wanted to say a special shout out to those people that actually tested the course for us to make sure that everything was working.
Good.
Yes. Thank you. Shout out to them. Kyle, where can the nice people, they can go to areyoureadyforai.com.
Areyoureadyforai.com. Go there, check it out. You can read all about it and basically sign up there and begin today. And as Vikki said, you want to power through it in a couple of days, 5 days, a day per section, you can do that. I think this is also something that you could really soak in over weeks or months, right? There's a lot here to unpack. So yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you to you two. It's been a real pleasure today. And
we forgot. Sorry, you keep trying to kick me off. We got one more thing.
The
certificate. We got to talk about the certificate.
There is a certificate.
Everyone loves a certificate. I had no idea how much we love our certificates. So you complete the course, you get a certificate. So you can show it off. You can put it on LinkedIn. You can put it, next to your name on your CV. You can brag about it to your neighbors. You have completed this course. You are part of something real that exists and has human beings attached to it.
And listen, it may seem like a potentially frivolous thing. People in our communities that have said they're a part of our community, that they've done particular things within our community, that they run our community, it makes a difference. People are surviving layoffs, they're getting promotions at jobs. So absolutely take advantage of that. So great point.
Yeah, and we have like a community set up for this in the AI Salon. So like if you're going through the course and you're like, oh, I don't know how to pass this question to get onto the next stage, go and chat with someone in the community about it, and they can help you get through it.
Perfect.
The questions are not too hard. They are not too hard.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. And
thanks, everybody.
Great to see y'all.
Thank you.
We'll see you out there.
Bye.